You are ready.
All right, good morning. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. We have another episode of Suit Up with Simmons, episode number 2. So today's question is going to be a little bit tough today. I mean, we've had a lot of different things that have happened here that took place this weekend that kind of had me a little sad. And then we had some things that happened this week that actually was a little concerning. So we have a question that I'm going to read here. Mr. Simmons, I saw your speech during the protests in Mint Hill this summer, and I really appreciated what you said during the event. After seeing and reading about the incident with the shooting of Jacob Blake, I want to know how is this still happening? Well, for me, I will say this. It frustrates me. I'm very sad and upset. Sometimes I don't know what to do. But when you say, how is this still happening? I say, this is always happening. This is always taking place. But now we have social media, and social media basically sends this out to the masses so for everyone can see. It's a good thing, and then it's also a bad thing. When I think of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Walter Scott, Eric Gardner, Tamir Rice, you really I have no words, because I am a black man every day, and when I go out, I am always scared that I may be pulled over. My parents, when I was young, when I was in high school, middle school, they had these conversations with me about, hey, this is what you need to do if you get pulled over. These are the things you need to say. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Because they didn't want anything to happen to me. But my parents shouldn't have to have that conversation. But it does, and it happens to all individuals of color. I know that Black Lives Matter, but during that speech I talked about education. And when I was young, my parents and even the church I went to, we talked about the Greensboro Four. We talked about Emmett Till. We talked about John Lewis. We talked about the Freedom Riders. And it was important for us to hear these stories, to go back to see what was going on. And then as I got older in high school, we talked about the Central Park Five. We talked about Rodney King, and we saw these things. Even the music that I listened to, my hip hop music, I would listen to Boogie Down Productions or Public Enemy, and they talked about police brutality. I'm so proud of seeing all of the young people protesting of different colors, different backgrounds, different religions, but this has been going on since the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, and one of the things I said was, it just can't stop. But now we have to take it a step further because it continues to happen through all of these protests. There are a lot of good cops out there. But it's time for these cops to step up and say, hey, this is wrong. They have to hold other cops accountable. They need to speak out about what they see. We also have to vote. We have to vote. A lot of your seniors are getting older. You're starting to register for voting. You have to go out and vote. I'm going to stop right there because I'm getting a little too emotional. Give me your thoughts.
Well, it's hard to follow that up, Mr. Simmons, because I think you so eloquently stated that. It's a lot. It's a lot, and as Mr. Simmons said, this has been going on for the entire history of the United States of America. It's just now that we have social media and we have cameras on our phone that people can see it. And I'm specifically talking as a white person to white people, seeing this occurring. And I think it's very easy when you're in a position of privilege, which all of us are, as white people, and you have to accept that and acknowledge that, that you can just turn a blind eye because it's not happening to me. It would never happen to me. We have reached a point where you don't have a choice. Your ignorance in pretending these things don't exist, that racism doesn't exist, there's no disparity between how people of color are treated versus white people. Your ignorance on this topic, it's no longer a time that you can sit by and do nothing. You have a choice to make. And my hope is that seeing what is going on will open your eyes a little more. And I encourage you, Mr. Simmons touched upon education. Educate yourself. There are a lot of resources out there that will educate you about race issues in the United States. And I'm also gonna tell you that if it makes you uncomfortable, you have to push through this discomfort. This is something that people of color in our community and in our country have dealt with their entire lives. So I'm sorry, but not really sorry, that you're going to have to deal with the discomfort of educating yourself and learning about these issues so that you can be an ally for the people in our community, for our entire community, that they can be a part and truly, truly be treated equally, and that we can stop this or do whatever we can to stop this in our society. I had talked to Mr. Simmons before we tackled this, and a little known fact about myself is that my dad's passed away now, but my dad was a police officer for over 30 years. And so I have always carried this mixed feelings, which I'm sure many people feel, and that you maybe know police officers or care about police officers and see the good that the police do in the community, but also torn with what you see going on in the news media or on social media. And I had a conversation with my dad about this in 2015. And this was when 2015, I believe, was Michael Brown, which is sad to say that I can associate a name with years, because this has happened so often. And my dad told me not to feel conflicted, that yes, there are good cops, but there are also people, just people in general, and some of them may wear a uniform, that do bad things, okay? And you can still care about police officers and care about people in your, that hold that position and hold them in respect, but still hold them accountable. It's not mutually exclusive when we're talking about caring about police and Black lives, okay? It's not one or the other, okay? But, we need to pull the focus off of ourselves, get uncomfortable, educate yourself, and try to make, as I said, a better community and world for every person in it. So.
I mean, and well spoken. I mean, I really appreciate what you said and sharing it with our students and staff. But the fight is far from over. I mean, we have to do our part. We can sit here and have this conversation, but you need to have this conversation. As a class, you need to have this conversation with your students. Parents at home, if you even watch this, you need to have this conversation with your children. Talk about Emmett Till. I mean, talk about the different things that has taken place. We learn about Martin Luther King, we learn about Malcolm X, but there are others that have done so many great things. So, I mean, this is a hard topic for us to talk about, but I think that what we're doing now kind of can open up a discussion throughout our school and throughout our community, and that's what we're here for. And so, we're going to end this here. Jay Garcia here, we're with you and your family, and please keep your head up, and if you need anything, please reach out to us. And all of the students, hey, have a great week, and we'll see you next week.